idcwoodcraft.com. Hello, my CNC brother or sister. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and I'd like to welcome you to this video about CNC business. Now, I'm going to give you a fair warning about this video. It's going to start off a little bit edgy, but I promise you, by the time this video is done, you're going to be smiling. So what I want to share with you in this particular video is about business that you are trying to get into or getting into, and the mindset that you want to take on as you're building your business. Now, we're going to start off with this whole thing that IDC Woodcraft is a for-profit business, as your CNC business should be. After all, a business is not a business unless it's making a profit and growing. So there is another aspect of business that makes your business go like a skyrocket, and that is the art of giving. Okay, a lot of times when we get into business, sometimes it's because we're stressed about money and we need to have some money, you know, because we didn't save enough money or something like that. But the true art of business is to get out of our own heads and get into the minds of our customers and try to understand exactly what they want, but also to give to them and to the broader community that you will serve of your own heart, giving to people without expectation. So here comes the edgy part. In giving, right, I create a ton of content, and the content I create usually takes some time and some effort to help you to start off as a CNC beginner. Now, one of the things that I do as part of this business is pay it back. And the way that I do that, that is from my heart, is a percentage of everything that comes through the door, the bank account of IDC Woodcraft, goes to Saint Jude. Now, Saint Jude is children's research hospital that is there to help children who are being afflicted by cancers that are pretty aggressive. And my niece, Isabel, some 12 years ago, when she was 6 years old, was sitting with her mom. And she said, "Mom, I see two of you." And so her mom took her to the doctor, and they got her to the hospital. They did a scan, and they saw some shit in there that didn't belong. Within 3 days, she was under the knife at Saint Jude in her skull, cutting out pieces of her brain. It is 12 years later, and Isabel is a beautiful 18-year-old girl, and she is still with us. And I want to tell you something. What my sister said, Isabel's mom, was all the kids that were there with similar cancers of the brain, only 2 survived, Isabel and one other. And there were reasons beyond just the medical stuff that had something to do with it. It had to do with this mindset of I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go do it. But one of the things I want to tell you about on this is that witnessing 2 parents absolutely helpless and petrified, and having to trust total strangers that they were thrown into, this fear in them was insane. And the poor 6-year-old Isabel, coming out of surgery, suddenly can't move half her body. You know, so anyway, let's get on with the edgy part. So I made it a commitment, my commitment, that as a part of IDC Woodcraft, I would donate a certain percentage of the income that comes in the business to Saint Jude. And I set my goal for this year of 2022 to be $15,000 that IDC Woodcraft would write checks to Saint Jude. And I do it in $5,000 increments. So as of right now, I have donated, thank you to you, $10,000 to Saint Jude. And my goal for the end of the year is to write a check for $15,000. Write that other $5,000 check to hit the $15,000. And I have made that whole thing public. I have put it out in the CNC Entrepreneurs Facebook group. It's on my Facebook page, my personal page, and I sent an email out to the CNC Entrepreneurs. And somebody on the CNC Entrepreneurs Facebook page said something that just went right through me and totally pissed me off. And what they said was, oh, are you trying to get donations from people so that I could get a tax write-off for it? And I was pissed the minute I saw that, because number one, the tax write-off stuff doesn't do a whole lot of stuff for business, but it is prudent for businesses to be taking advantage of tax write-offs. If you're getting in a CNC business, get yourself started in an LLC at least. But the point of the matter is, that pissed me off, was that wasn't even in my head. And it's almost like, oh, you're about the money. And business is about money, right? It's about making a profit. However, true business comes from the heart. This is why I do what I do, and get on the phone with you, and I'm always emailing with you and helping you in the Facebook groups and creating all the content that I do for you. Business is the art of giving. And by virtue of giving, money, income, business is a byproduct of doing that. If you are in business for the money, or if you have the mindset of, oh, you're all about money, or they're all about money, then that is a negative mindset about income. Sometimes when I talk to people, they say money's not important. And that's the most ludicrous thing that I've ever heard. Because if you're tight on money, you're stressed all the time about money. And if you have plenty of it, and you're very comfortable, money is the last thing on your mind, and you can be very creative. Now, my story goes to a point of I was broke, almost, right? But it was through my commitment of finding my dream, which was teaching you CNC, that I was willing to commit and lose all income savings that I had across the board. But now I'm at a point I can now give back to something like Saint Jude, which is a wonderful feeling, and you are a supportive part of that. When I get the occasional person coming on and say, oh, you're doing it for this and this and this, and that's not even in the context of what I'm thinking, then I'm pissed. It's an assumption, but I also know that it's coming from a different place in the mind, the way people think. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because if you're going to be in business, you have to go into business with a gratitude mindset. You have to be grateful about what you're going into. It's not always easy. Business is not easy, right? That's why most people don't have their own businesses. But I tell you, when you get your business going and you start to see success, you get your first sale, you're feeling good. That's the moment you're going, this works. This shit works. And when it gets to a certain point, then you can start giving back in pretty amazing ways. Now, as an individual earning a salary, $15,000 would be a pretty steep check. But as a business, I can write those checks because the business makes more than what I made in my past life as an engineer. And I can gladly, from my heart, write those checks. But I want to share with you one more thing. I told you by the end of this video, you were going to be smiling. And that one more thing is when I get pissed off, I don't hold a grudge. I don't want to hold that negativity in me. I don't want to think bad about people, right? Because that just draws us down. What I do is I find a reason to feel grateful, and I find a way to feel good. And what you are about to see is something that I did to make myself feel good a couple of years ago that put a great smile on my face that I'm going to share with you that has nothing to do with CNC. Like most of this video. Most of this video really has to do more with mindset and when not just business, but mindset in life. If we're stressed about stuff in life and we're not getting the stuff that we want, that's a result in life. And it's our responsibility as individuals to change it. And it all starts in here, in our attitude. And so this, my friend, from a week that was a little bit challenging for me, but very thoughtful and taught me a lot of things about myself. And then this giving, which was my way of compensating for something that wasn't very easy this week to have to process through. And then I got that comment, and I was just like, boom, I just knew. And the way I handled it is exactly what I'm about to show you right now. idcwoodcraft.com.